going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary 41 of my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description. You also know I'm a Weeble preferred of it. What's their best promotion they have in the pinned comment? All you have to do, go click the link, open account. They're going to give you free stock deposit, a single dollar. They're going to give you more free stock. I want to talk about the Madden 24 deep dive, the gridiron notes, the gameplay came out, and I just want to focus on this screenshot here that shows just about every player from every position, lineman, receiver, tight end, blocking, except one. Because as you can see, they've yet to master defensive players disengaging and going in the backfield to make tackles without making the offensive player look completely inept. But don't worry, Madden is here to tell us about all the improvements and changes with Field Sense. And I love that EA has to degrade their prior product. They really have to talk down on Madden 23 more than ever before in showing us how the game is improved. So it starts with Field Sense. Catch tackles. They talk about the mid-air catch system for Madden 23 and apparently how we were limited to only being able to play the ball properly when our back was turned and we were facing the receiver. But have no fear, they made all the changes this year. So now you can swat, you can catch tackle, you can hit stick. All these contested catches now are available. But you just didn't realize how limited we were before. Because now, unlike before, you can defend curl routes, slants, streaks with a variety of realistic outcomes. You weren't doing that at Madden 23, despite how realistic you thought it was, despite how massive you thought those gameplay changes were. They do something this time I've never heard them do, ever. In all my years of covering Madden, I've never seen this happen. Number one, they talk about big man wrap tackles, right? Which to a gamer doesn't mean anything, but they give an example of Vita Vea grabbing a running back while trying to run up the middle. So are you trying to tell me that you implemented reach tackles in this year's game? Because reach tackles were something we've wanted since All-Pro Football 2K8, and I feel like if you properly implemented them, that you would be doing a whole video sequence on them, not just saying we added big man wrap tackles in. But one of the things I've never seen them do is they say they added and adjusted. Understand this. They added and adjusted 1,700 plus tackle animations to hit everything. So hold on to that little nugget of adjusting animations. Because they go on and they say, with Frostbite, we've been able to change the way the AI blocking works. So they show a lot of ball carriers running in the open field with supposedly an AI system in place that allows blocks to be set more organically. Now, they've talked about this again for years. It goes back to quarterbacks pointing out blocks. For some reason, it's never really shown up in the game, but now they want to say with Hit Everything 2.0, it's going to. They also talk about extending the tackling system for Madden 23, which now unlocks blockers' abilities to join gang tackles and push the pile forward. And this happens from AI-controlled blockers. So how does that work? Who has the control? You're now just allowing more branching in these animations? Because if that's the case, if you're telling me that you've improved how players can branch, that's adjusting animation. So is that factoring into that 1,700 number you were just throwing around? Now, the upgraded passing system makes me laugh. They basically say, listen, we've upgraded it for jump and dive passes because of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. And the problem that I have is when they talk about adding these no-look passes, is they say we've modified the placement in inaccuracy rates so that they can reflect real NFL accuracy numbers. But the problem with this is very simple. People playing real football do these throws because they have no other options. People doing this in the game find a way to do it to exploit the animation process. This is why we've told EA for the longest time, animations simply just need to be out of the game. Because when you have them, the game doesn't understand what's going on. They're not little players on the field. You're going to see some of the most ridiculous things being thrown in this game. Defenders in front, behind, beside, standing still. And it's interesting that they sit there and say, while rare, the dive pass can lead to exciting moments for players like Patrick Mahomes. What you're saying is, while rare, we know this game is going to do unbelievable things that are going to lead to YouTube clips, but understand it was our best intention to make it realistic. Moving forward, they talk about catching improvements. And again, hundreds of new animations designed specifically to reduce missed catches and continue to have the player's speed and momentum when catching the ball. Things that I guess they say weren't in the game last year. And then we get down to it. The dumbest feature I've ever seen, ever heard. Sapient technology. That's right, this year EA has put something in the game that is so unbelievable, they're admitting that we can't even see it. And they offer these player skeletons. And this is where I think most of the animation adjustments are coming from. They show Quentin Nelson last year and this year, and they show what is very much a different player model. But they want us to believe that this is not a player model that's changed, but this is rather a skeleton in the player leading to more realism. And they even say above it, are multiple body types, you can notice these improvements. So what you're saying is, we changed the player models from one year to the next. We're going to say it's because we put a skeleton in the game, and we're going to sell you what is supposed to be a better product. In the trailer, they go on and show some of the joint articulation that had been broken for years, and they say that based on this sapient technology, that no longer happens. Well, that's great when you have an animation of a player in a pre-snap blocking movement, which is all you adjusted. But the reality becomes, with this technology, players should stop moving and shifting through each other. And we've already seen in the beta that that's not possible. So you either release the beta without this in it, or you're greatly over-exaggerating the changes that it's going to have. And they literally go on to say, and this to me is the reason why they had to come up with something. Another great thing about the sapient skeleton, it's allowed us to put referees back in the game, because remember they said they weren't going to put the refs in until they were happy with how they looked, until it met the criteria for what EA Sports felt was acceptable in a game. So now with this sapient technology, they're coming out and saying, listen, now coaches, fans, even the female referee can look good enough so that we can put them back in the game. They go through and they talk about foundational football, which I've kind of touched on, the defensive back and AI coverage, which, again, I've touched on, the read and react, which we know is not properly implemented into the game because the players don't have memory built in. Players don't have memory to understand play recognition. So why are you sitting here and talking about these things and, again, admitting faults? When they talk about defensive AI read and react, they literally say this will not apply on a play-action run. You know why? Because the players have never had in Madden programming that allows them to get fooled. The only people being fooled here is gamers. The only people being fooled here are people that will project to you these are all changes. I've never seen the quarterback AI read like what should be a dev update. They say historically, QBs only had 3 pass lead points to choose from, but now they're 12. And that this new decision-making trait is going to leverage everything in a way you've never seen before. A conservative trait, where they'll throw to partially covered receivers, but only if it's a star. How are they going to know? They give an example of Kirk Cousins. The ideal trait, an archetype that knows exactly when to try to fit in a tight window, tailored logic for a wide receiver in the end zone. An example, Pat Mahomes. None of this changes user-to-user gameplay, by the way. An aggressive trait, a gunslinger that's going to push the balls in ways that you've never seen before. Like the cover athlete, Josh Allen. They talk about adaptive AI with alert logics. A new concept where the CPU has a run play called, but the defense has the box loaded. And the AI might be able to audible to a pass. So you're telling me there's an alert logic in a football game where if the box is full, the quarterback is going to audible. And this is new. This is something we've never seen before, because there's games that have done that for years. They talk about how Sapient technology is going to change everything we know. Fumble recoveries, onside kicks. But again, it goes back to if they're just modifying the way the animations interact with the ground and the ball, that's not really changing anything. That allows them to say we've made 1,700 plus animation improvements, but is it going to prevent players from warping through each other? Is it going to prevent players from doing diving animations where they can't interact or they overshoot the ball? More than likely not. Because you're sitting here and telling us, oh, we just have a new scoop and score animation, guys. Oh, we have improved tip-off physics, guys. Come on, EA. Stop selling us 15 pages of garbage and show us real changes in the game. It's not about what you're adding in the game. It's about what you're taking out of the game. And when you're sitting here and adding 70 new offensive formations and 500 plus plays, that tells me you know the game isn't functioning right, because that's what you have to add. If the game played like football, you don't need all these new plays. But we also know by adding those new plays, you're going to run into big issues where the game isn't going to function properly. And of course, post-play emotion. Referees that are going to interact with players. Coaches that are going to need to be held back. None of this stuff matters. It's all window dressing until you get an improved and better game. And that's something EA has struggled to do. But this year, more than ever before, they're doing so by telling us Madden 23 was the worst football game of all time. Even though they sat there and sold us, it was going to be the most polished, best version of Madden in the honor of the late John Madden. They are now showing us examples of how awful the game was so they can sell you another year of improved gameplay and an improved product that is, quite frankly, just not there. And why are they doing it? Why are they degrading the legacy of the name that was made in John Madden's honor? Because their jobs are on the line. Because they're concerned this is the year that they might actually get shown the door. So in order to accommodate that, they're going to sit there and say, we lied to you about the game that we put John Madden on the cover of. Because this year we really made the game better. And I'll tell you what, any single person working at EA that hears my voice, you should be ashamed, you should be embarrassed, and you should not be proud of these games you've been putting out in the man's name. Because they are not simulation football, they will not be simulation football, and today is even more proof with your deep dive that you're incapable of understanding not only what your gamer wants, but putting a quality game in a box or on a download. Love to know your thoughts on this, appreciate you watching this video. You know when a gaming company is this poor, there is no way I won't be back in the week with more commentary.